As promised, I'm going to give you a tour of my completed Lydian project. So when we started out, I had this cool 2-chord thing. It's a G chord, an F chord going to a G chord, and that is intact. It's right here, F and G. Didn't change that at all. Quantized it, but didn't change it too much. Over the top of that, though, interestingly enough, I put this glass pad, and I just broke up the chord. So instead of hitting F, A, and C at the same time, I hit the F first and then the upper 2 notes. Same thing for the G chord. Instead of hitting all the notes at the same time, I hit the G first and then the 2 notes. So then those got layered over each other. This is automation, this black line. What this does is it turns up and turns down the volume. So I'm going to solo those 2 tracks for you so you can hear what that sounds like right from here. Now the strings. And then that repeats. So that's the first part. Under that, I have my big fat sounding Led Zeppelin inspired When the Levee Breaks drum beat and an F happening in the bass. With the chords, that sounds like this. Let me close this window and you can see it all. So the ideas that I had there were exactly the same ideas as I had in my first video when I only had 4 bars done. But I stretched this out to last a lot longer, and I introduced the instruments one at a time. Well, the bass and the drums came in together, but then the bell pad came in playing the F chord and the G chord, and then it was doubled by the string section, and I made the string section kind of fancy by having the volume turn up and down. That brings us to bar 17. Same 2 chords, but I used a grand piano this time, and I played the chords short. Just on the keyboard, the typing keyboard, same 2 chords, just typed them on the typing keyboard and played them short. Now I did go up to an A minor triad here, and I explained that in the first video. I went from an F chord to a G chord, and then 1 more chord over, A minor, and then back down to G, and that repeats. With that, I have this little melody. Now I did come up with a little melody in my first video, but I thought it was too busy. So I changed it, and I kept the instrument the same. So the melody is longer, and it's a little bit different. I also made the bass part much shorter. They are the same 2 notes, but have a listen. So let's look at the melody first. There's a leap from F up to C, and then it goes up to D, and then back down to B. So that gives you that tritone, that F to B tritone, that dissonant, really defining the Lydian sound interval. Then the next part of the melody does the same leap, F to C, but this time it goes higher, and it resolves down. So the melody has a 2-part shape. There's the same leap that happens, the F to C, but the first time it goes down, and the second time it goes up. Have a listen to just the melody now. Now the repeat, with a different ending. So that's the idea behind that. Now the bass is a little different too. So let's take a look at what happens in the bass when I get to measure 17. I just played really, really short stuff. Here it is, 17. It's a lot of space. Nothing wrong with a lot of space. Makes the melody stand out a little better. Okay, to accompany that, I have this piano part. And it's all played short chords. drum beat is exactly the same. Okay, so that forms the next section. Moving along, drums are the same, bass is the same, and I bring back that glass pad. So the glass pad is just going to get a little bit more busy. It's playing still the same two chords, but it's playing them like this. That may sound really fancy, but it is the same two chords. It is an F chord, F, A, and C, and then it's a G chord, G, B, and D. And I just played those notes in a different order. Just played those notes back and forth, and kind of let the instrument be expressive. It's really ethereal sounding and really spacey sounding, and that's the effect I wanted. Okay, so then that was another layer. Now we're coming to the ending section here. I'm at measure 23, same exact bell part, goes with the melody. They play together. And I have my drums in there for the first 4 of that, but then I take the drums out and leave this dramatic little drop. So here's that next section. So melody comes back and the bell pad part comes in. Now, my strings are going to play something that's very much inspired by this melody here. I did this again on the typing keyboard. So have a listen to the strings section. It's an F chord, goes to a G chord, and I'm playing with the top notes over that chord. Just having them move along. My drums are doing something really simple. It's just the hi-hat. And then dramatically, we're going to hold out one long chord at the end and then one note. Drum fill. Now, at this point, everybody comes back in. The original melody that was played on the funny sounding synth, along with the strings melody that I had played over here with the 2 chords. Now, I copied the strings melody that I played with the 2 chords onto the piano part. So they're doubling each other. And the bass is back, just playing those the notes F in octaves, and I threw in a C as well to thicken it up. The drums are back, and here's the ending, the big dramatic ending after this held out note. Drum fill. And that's the end. So it's basically the same idea as my first video. I have an F chord and a G chord over an F bass note, but I used all these different little tricks and variations to make it interesting. So I hope that you're inspired by this and you come up with your own variations on your Lydian mode. Good luck.